Yes. Yes.
Friday, 10 o'clock tune in. It's showtime, the EV Café News.
Oh, and there it is. It must be Friday. Welcome to the News and Views with the... Exactly, it is Friday. It's the EV Café News, 30 minutes of what's happening in sustainable transport with expert analysis from these two. And maybe Sarah will join us. She's on a train. Now then, we're ably supported by Drax Electric Vehicles, a great way to start your EV journey once the news is finished, of course. Now, today's opinions on a stick, aforementioned Paul. How are you, my friend? Company car in action this week for you?
Well, I mean, come on, people. This was vans in action, of course. Company car in action, they tagged on the end. But, it was great. It was so good to see some really serious fleet van buyers there, assessing what was on the market. And some really good feedback from some of the exhibitors. Really, really positive and great to see some new additions. So we will talk about those, I'm sure, another time. But lots of new stuff going on, particularly in the car-derived world. Who knew?
Golly, that's interesting. Yeah, cars first, and then eventually vans catch up. Sam, how about your week, darling? Are you well?
I'm all right, thank you. My week has been varied, but productive as always. I was at Renault Trucks think tank this week at Silverstone, which was great fun, and nice to speak to lots of like-minded people about how to try and solve the challenge of EHGVs. So that was good, really, really good, and enjoyed showing all about the stuff that we're doing with nearly 160 vehicles now, EHGVs through my project ordered, which is just phenomenal. So that's a pretty large percentage of the total volume of all the HGVs in the UK right now. So pretty proud of that. It's good stuff.
Good man. Well done. And I think maybe my headphones are failing me, but the Renault Stink Tank is the perfect place for you. And Sarah, you were out on the tiles last night, weren't you?
I was. And how's the delay?
Yeah. The delay is awful, but it's lovely to see you for a moment. Right, shall we crack on, grab a cuppa and plug into what's happening in clean transport this week? And coming up, here's a shocker. The UK government is falling short on its electric fleet commitment. Paul, I'm coming to you for that one. Self-driving taxis and bus trials are to take place on UK roads next year. Sam, I was going to go to Sarah, but I'm coming to you for that one. There's been a major call to ensure that public EV charging is accessible. Yes, we're still talking about this, and it still ain't happening. And Paul, I'll come to you first, but I'm sure Sam will have an opinion. And if Sarah's able to join us, that would be great. And then we talk noise nuisance. And obviously, Paul will lead on that one. Because no, I was only joking. We'll just have a bun fight over this one. A transport operator has had new conditions imposed on them after noise complaints. We find out more because that's the first time I've seen that as a condition of the license, that noise, too much, not doing it, and maybe an opportunity for EVs. Right, but first, the EV Café commercial clap, where we highlight innovation and new things in our industry.
The commercial clap from the EV Café.
Innovation applauded.
Go on, Paul. What tickled your fancy?
What do you mean? I was just going to say Earth to Joe.
Right, let's crack on. Our dear friends at Drax Electric Vehicles have opened a new facility in Coventry. The new depot is part of Drax Electric Vehicles' expansion plans to employ 120 more staff and operate 2 additional depots across the UK. It's been installing, and this came as a little bit of a surprise to me, it's been installing EV charging hubs and on-street EV charging for the past 12 years, with customers including Euro Garages, Apple Green Electric, which I didn't know, Morrison's Supermarkets, Jolt, and Arnold Clark. So well done for them. And there's big news coming from Drax, so keep your eye on Coventry. There's some good stuff going on there. Next up, Octopus. A big shout out to Greg Jackson at Octopus for commissioning research to back his long-held belief that electricity prices for vehicle manufacturers could be cut without passing the costs on to households and small businesses. The report commissioned by Octopus finds that introducing something called zonal pricing, a system where electricity is charged based on regional demand and supply, could slash industrial electricity. Now, equally, if renewables are plentiful in an area, let's just say Scotland, why shouldn't all benefit from cheaper electricity? Consumers, householders, businesses, small businesses. If you've got an abundance, why are we just chucking it into the grid and potentially switching off some renewables that are being produced and paying farmers not to produce the energy? It makes no sense. Well done, Greg Jackson. Good on you, my friend. Webfleet are holding a special webinar with Richard Parker, their EV guru, Paul, our van guru, and me, just the village idiot, about how to reduce costs, improve safety, and boost fleet productivity with telematics. Details will appear next week on LinkedIn. There'll be a little link that you can click, and you can come along free to hear the wisdom of Richard Parker, the talking about vans of Paul, and, well, we'll leave it there, shall we? And finally, in the commercial clap, unusually a fourth little clap, Iveco have unveiled today 2 new electric vehicles dedicated to city missions. The and I love these names. Oh, golly, who came up with these names? The E-Jolly and the They are true jack of all trades. The vehicles combine extreme versatility, ample load capacity, and extended range, and are fast charging to deliver zero emission performance for a wide variety of missions in city centres. Paul, did you have anything to do with the E-Jolly and E-Super Jolly names?
No, I think a Yorkshireman did. Jolly.
Eeyop.
Eeyop. But I do love the name, the E Super Jolly. It does conjure up all kinds of things. I mean, this is the sixth brand that will be holding these products. So I sort of, my first question was why, but my second question my response to my own question was because they have the commercial vehicle pedigree to look after these vehicles in life. And I think they give users another option, particularly around that in-life support of a commercial vehicle dealer network, which will understand the importance and need to get these vehicles back on the road quickly and efficiently. So that was my takeaway from that.
Thank you, Paul. And that concludes the commercial clap. But whilst we were doing that, Sarah, I notice you're wearing sunglasses. Are they pink by any chance?
Nope.
Ah, okay. I thought they were power sunglasses, and it got me thinking. We should play a quick game. Grab some merch, people. So let's see. Paul, Sam, grab some merch. What you got in your little room there? Come on, you must have something. I'm going Drax Electric Vehicles hats. Sarah's rummaging around.
Hats.
Paul's gone Europe car. Sam's gone AA, and Sarah's just gone to pot. Really?
I've got nothing.
I do like this as well.
Oh,
The now
yes.
defunct
Very good.
Churchill.
Yes.
I mean, this has got
Now
to be
then.
worth money. Bids in the comments, please.
Now then, before we kick off with the news, I think it would be really helpful for us to know what's your standout piece of merch? Because obviously merch, so from a sustainability perspective, really, but we all love a bit of freebie. So what would be your go-to if I asked you to grab hold of some merch right now? Put in the comments. What would you grab? Okay, let's do the news, shall we? Now, the government. Oh dear. Just 15% of cars and vans operated by the government are pure electric, substantially short of its own fleet electrification targets. New research by What Car suggests. More than a fifth of its car fleet, 22%, are currently electric vehicles, whilst just 4% of vans are currently zero emission. In 2017, the government made a pledge to electrify a quarter of the central government car and van fleet by 2022, which it achieved in 2023. Only a squidge late. And for it to be, now get this, fully electric by the end of 2027. The DFT disputes What Car's claims, labelling them incorrect. A report from the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs published earlier this year stated that almost a quarter, 23% of the government car fleet was zero-emission vehicles, and it was improving the data relating to zero-emission vans. Now then, we live in an era where facts are subordinate to incorrect narrative from politicians. But any way you cut this, the target will be missed by an electric country mile. Paul, does it matter?
Do you know what? I will say that I think the government was a bit overzealous in committing, because just for context, two particular fleets are included in the government numbers. One is Network Rail and another is DEFRA, Department for Environment, Farming,
Rural Affairs,
something like that. That's it. Yeah, there we go. We got there. But those guys are included. They are big fleets and they are very tricky. So with a gun to the head of the likes of Network Rail, DEFRA and others, it's really difficult to get a solution that solves every problem within their fleet, and then particularly to sort out the charging infrastructure. Because a lot of it is not local, it's very, very rural, and they're in places where there's diverse amounts of power, often none. So they have got a big challenge. So I have every sympathy, and I think the government were overzealous to set such a target. I think if it had been more targeted on the sort of more or different departments, I think they would have been in better place. But the fact is, those guys are really trying hard to do what they need to do in order to get there. So I don't think it's a lack of desire on the fleets themselves.
I see that Sam may have an opposing view.
I've got a slightly different view. I mean, a lot of those vehicles will be exempt anyway. But I think what bothers me more is
what do you mean by exempt?
Well, a lot of some of the vehicle types will probably be exempt anyway. But what I find more worrying is that the DFT claim the figures are incorrect, and yet Whatcar claim that through Freedom of Information Act, that's where they got the percentage from in the first place. So one of the government departments is telling the truth and one isn't then. Assuming, of course, Whatcar's information that they've shared across is correct. But what I will agree with you on, though, is that that there's more to it than a percentage. What we need to understand from Freedom Information is what type of mileage are the vehicles doing, and what type of duty cycles have they got, and what proportion is taken home, etc. All the stuff that you would do in any commercial fleet. That's the data we really need, because just spouting a percentage can be or could be very misleading if you don't know what it includes and what it doesn't include. So I think there's more to this, and we need to ask the right questions through Freedom of Information, and hopefully not get two different answers from government. And then we can better understand whether they're doing a good job or a bad job.
Yeah, I think what is clear is that 4% of vans being used by government are electric, and that, irrespective of the numbers, the duty cycles and so on, is a massive undermining factor when businesses are looking to transition and being told it's easy to do so. It's clearly not if government, with the money that they have to give to fleet, are not prioritising in this area. Sarah, are you able to comment?
I would love to comment, but can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yay! Well, I was at Shoesmith's Automotive Conference yesterday with the SMMT and Avishek from BCA Car Auctions, and we were talking a lot about government and their targets and their funding and leading by example, as you'd expect us to. But it wasn't really the government leading by example anymore that we were worried about. It was private industry and the foibles within going electric. And I don't think a week goes by where I say, please don't trust percentages. Honestly, percentages are nothing without their foundation figures to show what it truly means. So yeah, let's keep to the facts, the figures. But was it 2.6 billion was announced in the budget for transport, 1.4 of which was purely for EV stuff. So not all bad.
Yeah, this is good news, and the spending review had some interesting directions in it, not least the
drop in the ocean, though, right? Hardly anything.
Well, indeed, yes.
Yeah.
Can I just say that $1 billion was announced for the Rapid Charge Fund 4 years ago, and not a penny of it has been spent. I mean, come on, we can all say big things, right? Well, 2.3 billion in tax benefits and incentives that'll be qualified there, and no further information. I mean, come on, people. It is time to just get on with doing the do.
The takeaway was exactly that. You've got to do what you can. You've got to go with the lowest hanging fruit for you. But the one that was really difficult to answer was they keep changing the rules and shifting the goalposts. And this was on last week's news as well. Like they giveth with one hand and taketh away with the other, in terms of they're not pulling together in the same direction to truly want people to electrify. They seem to be penalising us more than there's more stick than carrot at the moment.
But we shouldn't moan because at least we're not America. It's 10:15 and it's time to do the shout outs. And a wonderful well done to Steve Warts. He was in at 7:24 this morning from Economy Trucks. Happy Friday. Don't forget the sun cream. Quite right. Factor 50. I will be bathing later on. Oh, I thought Sam was reaching for his. James from Screenwash King, he's here as well. He fancied a song. The sun has got its hat on. Hip, 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 hooray. Golly. Well, we've got our own song, but thank you kindly. It's Friday! Gary Comerford, lovely day here. 9 out of 10 on the mental health scale. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Anybody out there who can beat 9 out of 10, good on you. Anybody less than about a 5... we could love you up and just make sure that you're okay. Give us a shout. Scott Eady. It's that time again, my friend. You're not far wrong. Stuart, Clean Energy Advocate. Humphrey, good to see you. Friday the 13th. I know, man. Are we superstitious here, Paul? You?
No, not really.
No? Sam, would you walk under a ladder?
No.
Please?
Please?
And Sarah, Black Cats. Anything to do with you at all?
Love them. Tuxedo cats are the best.
Anthony Boyd, happy Friday. Trevor Palmer, award-winning Trevor Palmer, nominated and very successful from EV Blocks. Well done, my friend. Really proud of you.
Global.
Bob Murphy, get you from Scotland. Lovely to see you. Leo Pickford. Now, Leo, well done to you, my friend. Derbyshire. Good work. Ron Godfrey, good to see you. Ash Bannister, old two mugs himself. Belinda Guy sent me a cheeky little message this week, which was lovely. Thank you for that. Really appreciated it. Rob Dustin, sun's out. 11 out of 10. We need to send you to the Sam School of Doing Numbers, my friend, but great to hear. We've done Scott. Lindsay Hetherington, how lush to see you. Good. Now then, LinkedIn user. Have a guess. Oh, yeah, it is. Peter Heath. Got nice teeth.
Peter Heath. He's got great teeth.
Sarah Kennel, welcome back. Don't know where you've been, but it's nice to have you back. Kieran McDonough, happy Friday, Kieran. Good to see you. Alex Hansford, Bradley King, love Borodar. Thank you. Good to say that in Welsh, always. My grandfather, quarter Welsh. No, he was Welsh. I'm a quarter. Thank you. Jim Blair, well done for you for being here, because I'm sure you've got really important things to be doing. Arnold Clark, the man that is DEV Chakravarti, only had 2 hours sleep, and he's got the biggest coffee in the world, and I think he's probably swimming in it. Bradley King. Oh, we have some great news with you, Tom, offering a... Yeah, I know, but he's got a Yutong thing, so just pipe down in the back there. Yutong offering a a very good alternative electric truck, 7.5 ton drop side and tippers. If anyone would like info, please let me know. Oh, that was an advert from
sales
Bradley
message
King.
then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, thanks for that, Bradley. Michael Barton, not Joel E. Oh, now that would have been good. The Iveco Joel E. Oh, I like that. He's clever, you know. He's in Bristol. Ursula, good to see you this morning from Greenfleet. We'll be catching up with you in September for the Greenfleet UK Rally. Toby Hiles, great to see you with the sunshine. Mike Stainton, lots of names that we haven't seen for a day or two, which is lovely. What on earth is going on? Novuna dust cloth, Sarah Kennel says. I didn't know there was such a thing for cleaning your glasses. How odd. There we are. Right. Okay. Cup warmer. From Peter Heath, he's got a cup warmer. Lucky boy, my mind races. Rob Morris, good to see you. Mark Elliott from Marrakesh. Golly, you're going to get searched on the way back. James Reynolds, he has a black cat. It's not brought him any. It's bought nothing but luck. This is good as long as luck is not the name of a mouse. And Alan Braggins.
That's what Sarah's cat does. Bring dead mouse bin. Mice back.
Live
just
mice. Jesus.
Oh,
Houses.
No.
Houses.
Can't think of anything else. 10:19. 3 stories. 11 minutes. Let's go. Pilots of self-driving taxi and bus services will now start on England's roads in spring 2026. We're talking 8 months away. A year earlier than expected, with government keen for the UK to be leaders in autonomous vehicles. Firms will be able to pilot small-scale taxi and bus-like services without a safety driver for the first time, which could be available to members of the public to book via an app before a potential wider rollout when the Fully Automated Vehicles Act becomes law from the second half of 2027. Bringing forward the rollout of pilots of self-driving vehicles, says the DfT, will help create 38,000 jobs and an industry worth £42 billion by 2035. Will it though? Will it really? We want to lead in AI. We want to lead in autonomous vehicles. Here's a thought, government. How about we work hard on renewables and like self-sufficiency? Maybe support farming. Who knows? Sam, thoughts?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, this. I don't know what my thoughts are yet. I know Sarah's buzzing to go, so I'll be quick. But I've had so many videos from friends in and out of the industry who've been over in the States in driverless taxis going, look at this, look at this, look at this. And it is quite incredible. My almost worry is be careful what you wish for, because when there's one or two around, it's amazing. But when it becomes prevalent, then what does that mean in the negative in terms of how are people going to try and sabotage them or try and cause issue, which can be very hard to fix when you haven't got a human being there to solve the problem because it's automated. So it's coming. It's technology that's happening. Have we got enough safeguards in place for what happens when things don't go right? Not just from a safety perspective, but from a people trying to make it not work perspective.
Indeed. Yes. When I did my law degree, what was that? 20 years ago, we were talking about the moral questions. So you have, a vehicle which isn't controlled by a human being who has to make a choice. Do I kill the 70-year-old man or do I kill the 3-year-old child? And that's the reality of the situation that we're living in. Decisions have to be made by vehicles, and it's tough. Sarah, you were waggling your finger with the point.
I was, because it was a huge subject at the law firm Shoesmiths yesterday for the automotive conference, and Chris Harris from Top Gear fame was there talking about his experience in the Waymo. Oh, they'd call it the Whammo. They should have just called it the Whammo if it was going to slam into things. But they joked and said it was a bit like a combination of Ghost Drives, which is a movie that I don't know, and Tales of the Unexpected. And apparently it had, to quote him, a brain fart when it got to a parking space that it couldn't get into and just started moving funny. So I think we're a long way off it being a sort of reliable consumer choice. However, 10 years ago, it was working in Rotterdam to get people from the train station to their place of work in the industrial estate because it's a perfect lane. And they made us jump in front of it and it stopped perfectly 10 years ago. So I've got high confidence.
Sam.
I just wanted to say as well, I think potentially this is a very, very useful use case for a secondary opportunity, and that is for vehicles to drive away in the evening and go charge somewhere and bring themselves back again for those that don't
like
have
Tesla
park.
wanted.
Yeah, so that is probably
Tesla talked about that.
Yeah, if that's possible, then the 50-odd% of people who don't have off-street parking then have a solution. So I think there's probably a lot more that can be done to help other parts of the industry.
Good point. So ugly though. They've got all the wart-like growths on the car with all the cameras and sensors. It's not how I'd like my stylish car to look.
That'll change. They'll get incorporated in time when they get it sorted.
Yeah.
Sam's got
apparently
a
friend of mine
his car. It's called the Driver.
Yeah, we got rid of all the water.
A friend of mine just came back from the Shanghai Automotive Show, and there is a lot of autonomous vehicles and autonomous things surrounding the ecosystem, like robots to repair and to charge and to do all of these kinds of things. So autonomy is already a long way ahead, as we might expect, I suppose, in China.
Right, now, 4 comments in a row that I've got to go with. Leo Pickford, call me controversial, but I actually quite like a conversation with a taxi driver. I think I would miss that. I can't think of anything worse.
No, nor me.
I struggle too.
Oh, Paul, do you and the taxi driver have a good chat?
I'm always working.
Almost always. Yeah,
No,
I love having a chat with the taxi drivers. You get lots of interesting information, particularly around the maintenance of taxis. It's gone down with electric. So anyway,
I always ask really inane questions like, "Have you been busy today?
Oh
and
no,
that's
you're
it.
not one of
And it's
them.
like,
Oh, no.
I am, because I can't think about it, because I don't know the guy. I mean, what am I going to, or the lady? I just don't know them. Just shush, be quiet. Now then, Ben McDonald. I'm not convinced that autonomous vehicles will be good in busy cities such as London. Need to focus on public transport and active travel. Darn right. Now then, Sarah Kennel, she's blowing her trumpet. I've been in Monaco. Check out the Obsidian yacht. I have seen it. She is beautiful. And she runs on HVO and electric. And can I just say, a warm welcome to Colin Boyton at 10:22. We mentioned the EV rally of the UK in September, Colin. Where was you? I guess you was busy sorting it all out, my friend. Lovely to see you. Right, shall we crack on? 10:25, still got 2 to go. The UK government has been urged to back an amendment by an MP to ensure public electric vehicle charging infrastructure is safe and suitable for drivers with disabilities. Sir Jeremy Wright, MP for Kenilworth and Southam, has called on the government to make sure that the 1.35 million EV drivers with disabilities are represented in the Planning and Infrastructure Bill. The bill is set to streamline the rollout of public EV charging infrastructure by granting installers a similar status to major telecoms and energy providers to undertake street works under a simpler and cheaper permit system. There's an awful lot to this story that I'm not going to go into. I cannot believe, Sarah, that we are still talking about people having access to charging infrastructure. What's happening? We need to be mandating this stuff.
We do, and we are following. So again, from a legal standpoint, the European Commission is releasing their Accessibility Act that goes live next month. So I've got high hopes that this will become a follow suit.
Yeah, because I got a feeling that this is just like reasonable adjustments that need to be made, and where public money has been used to put charges in.
Sam will know with grid service.
Well, yeah. It's going to be a lot of charge point operators are going to feel like it's unreasonable because they've built things that are not compliant now, and that's just really foolish. Compliance with the standard is voluntary, which is ridiculous.
Indeed.
So if there's certain CPOs out there, and I won't name names like MFG, but they are like assault courses for disabled people, and it's just but they built them just a few years ago. So why didn't they do it properly the first time? So it's crazy that people aren't past compliant now, and if they're not, then they should have thought about it.
Snooze-lose. Yeah.
Paul, cancel that call with MFG for sponsorship, mate. Right, final story, 10:27. New conditions have been imposed on the restricted operator's licence of Peter Young and Partners in response to persistent noise complaints from residents. A public inquiry with the Traffic Commissioner, Miles Dorrington, heard concerns regarding disruptive noise levels from the operator's Barbican Close operating centre. It found that 65% of the time, this is 419 instances out of 642 for those who like absolutes, vehicles started driving before 5:30 a.m. and 105 times before 4:30, creating unacceptable environmental conditions for nearby residents. And it made me think, noise is one of those benefits of an EV that we don't talk about often enough, and seeing this and seeing an operator's license being amended with conditions around noise made me wonder, should we be doing this more? Bunfight, who wants to go?
Well,
I
I
spent-
will.
I spent years
I'm
in
just going to
London
start
dealing
talking.
You're pixelated and 5
Go
seconds
on.
late, so you don't get to play. But I've spent years in London dealing with noise pollution at my depots, and it was never the vehicles that was the issue. It was the pallets and the rattling cages and all that kind of logistics stuff which caused the issue. So it's not just vehicles, this one. This is all about what you're doing in those places at that time, as well as just the vehicles themselves. I've also had to deal with the Barbican community before, and they are one of the toughest crowds I've ever had to do consultations with, so I can understand why they're very sensitive based on where they are in the world.
Yeah. Paul.
Give him 5 seconds.
Well, I wanted to say that we do talk about the benefits of the silence of EVs for drivers very often, particularly one of the benefits in commercial vehicles where they don't get the benefits, the financial. But it has been talked about that these O license conditions should be affected by moving to zero emission vehicles, and I think it's a great idea. And absolutely, we should be using every opportunity to promote these things to move to EV.
Yeah, Toby Hiles says quite a bit of public transport infrastructure isn't DDA compliant. Absolutely my point. Shame on us. And Gordon Brown joins us, which is always lovely to have an ex-Prime Minister. Noise and air
It's
quality
not
benefits.
the same one.
What? Eh?
We love
Must
Gordon
be.
Brown, not that one.
no.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, I think that's the news. Listen, guys, thank you so much for this week.
Thank you,
If you've
John.
got any clean transport PR or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. And people are in their droves. Maybe we should make this an hour long. Who knows? Anyway, until
sometimes.
next Friday, it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from my good friends. This has been an EV Cafe production. Other sustainability news services are available. But frankly, this is just funner!
That's Sam. That's Sam doing it. Yes.
Yeah, he's in. See, this
I
is
didn't
also
see it.
Sam, and he did it. He did just shout funner. So
Sarah, can I just say that's a bit weird? The EV Cafe is truly blessed to be partnered with the AA, Webfleet, Europe Car of Echo, Sperry, Schneider Electric, Dynamon, EV Blocks, Good Luck Trevor on the night, and AW Energy with the EV Cafe, supporting the transition to clean transport, supported by Drax Electric Vehicles and their shiny new premises in Coventry. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, wherever it takes you. Until next Friday. Bye.
bye.
Action Sam.